我が剣の真の力を見よ。
Round 1. Fight. Select your character. Select your super army. Round 1. Fight.
Well, I got Jack.
Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select and make your first pick.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this. You win. All right, that's cool. All right, that's cool. Alright, that's cool. Prepare to strike. Now, you win. Alright, that's cool. Prepare to strike. Now.
チャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。
やっ